6 o'clock, and I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order for the Tipp City Exempted Village Schools. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Stevens, will you please take attendance?
Mrs. Drum?
Here.
Mr. Maines?
Here.
Mrs. Dillard?
Here.
Mrs. McMurray?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
All present and accounted for. We can continue the meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stevens. At this time, I would love a motion to approve the agenda.
All motion.
Moved by Mrs. McMurray. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Maines. Is there any discussion on approving the agenda? Sorry.
No.
Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
McMurray?
Yes.
Maines?
Yes.
Dillard?
Yes.
Drum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Motion passes to approve the agenda. First item on our agenda this evening is student recognition. Mr. Moran?
All right, so we got some of our wonderful students here to recognize for their work in the last month or so. So I will call up your name. All you gotta do is come up here, get your certificate, shake hands with me and then the board members, and then you go over there where the Tipp City logo, Tipp Canoe logo is, and get smile and take pictures. So painless, no speeches tonight, unless you want to. We have room for that if anybody wants to talk. We can actually do that. But want to recognize some of our great kids. So we'll start with Broadway Elementary. So first we have Blaine Hedger. Blaine received the Encouragement Award at Broadway. He's in second grade. So congratulations. And Russell, we got second at the tournament for Sunday, right?
Good
The Kindness Award goes to Becca Kanaki.
Good job, buddy. You're welcome.
Teddy Lambers received the most AR, which is accelerated reader points. Not here. And then Nathan Phillips is getting the Perseverance Award tonight. I just saw him. Yeah. Parents, you're welcome to go over there and get pictures if you want. It's up to you. You don't need to sit here and listen. LT Ball, we have winners of the Holiday Writing Contest, Creativity and Action Award. All right, again, hopefully I don't put your name, Fiona, but is it Fiona Chaplow? There she is. Silas Downing. Silas, there he is. Clark McGinnis. Congratulations.
Great time.
Yeah, I love that. Good job.
Logan Sierra. Nicole Stump. Cooper Seibert. Laura Toby. And Bella Baggins. All right, and then we want to recognize our Tipp New high school students. These students did a great job with the Murder on the Orient Express. I don't know if you've seen, we were able to get to the play. Did a great job. I took my mom. She was very happy that she went. She was very impressed with the kids and how they could stay in character with all their accents and everything. And not just these kids, but the kids who were doing the stage. The stage was really a wonderful venue on how it worked, worked well with everything. So we have a bunch of the kids here today. So I'll call your name and come on up. So Penelope Backgate. Callie Batson. All right there. Lincoln Elric. Zane Haas. Is this your first leading role? Yes.
Excellent work. Excellent work.
Lucas McAdoo.
If you want. I know that guy.
Eve McCormick. Wesley Moore's on here. Elizabeth Richards is here.
I know her too.
Charles Richardson is down here. Ava Sowery. Sowery or Sowery? Sowery. That's right. Congratulations. And Amelia Wiggershouse. Some really talented kids. They really did a great job with the performance. So the next musical is Little Mermaid in April. Sometime then.
Yeah.
All right.
Auditions are coming up, right? January? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh,
Oh, we got more.
we got one more left. We got Teddy Landers, and Teddy was the most AR points at Broadway.
Good job. We can read those books. Excellent.
You're gonna have the biggest smile now. Congratulations to all our kids.
You can.
Yep, feel free parents, you're welcome to go. Thanks for coming. Did these awards help out with the extra Christmas shopping?
Still standing?
Places to go.
Give it a second. So cute.
That was pretty quick.
I love seeing all the kids.
What's the main character's name in the Orient Express?
Murder on the Orient Express. The
Oh,
detective.
I forget.
It had to be the young man with the.
It was,
Yeah.
but I can't remember.
Classic.
Hold on, let me look it up really quick.
It was actually a good movie when I
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Was Johnny Depp it?
No, what was it? I think we made it like 2014, 2015.
Oh, thank you. Here's the cast, if that helps.
That's not what I was thinking. I thought he had more of like a common name with the main guy.
What was the main guy? Murder on the Orient Point.
He's from France.
Yeah.
It was a French name.
How do you pronounce it? Rock?
Yeah, like Inspector Perot.
Perot.
Yeah,
I just don't know how to pronounce it. Spelled in a way that was wrong.
it's
For me,
fine.
for my brain.
You tried.
Hurrah.
That's all that matters. I give you A for effort.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Okay. Mr. Moran, you are next on the building project update.
So again, I mentioned earlier in the work session, but just we have community meeting tomorrow night here at 6 p.m. to look at the plans that have been updated since, or being updated constantly. However, the concept will remain the same. So we have community meetings tomorrow night, and then some again in January that we invite the community to be part of to learn more about the project and provide some input on that. But just to get it more of an awareness on that, we've had some with staff and it's gone well. A lot of excitement in finally happening. So a lot of good things going on with that and working hard. A lot of people meeting with architect, with the construction, with the our consultant, and trying to again make this the best building possible for your kids, for staff, and for the community usage. So that's it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for the update. All right. Now at this time, we will have citizens' comments. Citizens may address the board. In the past, I've read the expectations. They're also listed in the public content section. Okay. Mr. Don Watson, you are first.
Don Watson, West State Route 571, Tipp City, Ohio. It is great that it is Christmas time. We hear songs like Mary, Did You Know Your Baby Would Calm a Storm? The face of God who will come again. The blind will see, the Lord of all creation in heavens, your perfect Lamb. It happened on a holy night. A Prince of Peace, newborn King, Christ is the Savior. We sing with the newborn, we sing hallelujah. What are we seeking? Peace, love, joy, and love. God knows we need salvation. Gift for all people, the Savior. There's no such thing as a clean slate on our own, only by one, Jesus, who can restart and calls us to salvation. Because of Christ, God knew what his will was for Jesus, his life, resurrection, bigger than Christmas, Easter. And now we're facing the next big event is the rapture. It tells us about earthquakes that are happening, hurricanes, tornadoes, drought, crop failures. We're there. The Psalms 90 remind us this generation will not pass. it only lasts 70 or 80 years. From the date of 1948, we are told we won't know the day or the hour, but theologians have studied and called. Now it came upon in those days that a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that his census be taken of all the inhabitants on earth. And the angel said to them, do not be afraid, and for behold, I bring you good news of a great joy, which shall be for all people. For today in the city of David there has been born for you a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And it came about, when the angels had gone away from them into heaven, that the shepherds began saying to one another, let us go straight to Bethlehem, then, and see the thing that was happened, which the Lord has made known to us. It's amazing how in the Gospels we see a connection between them all. In John, one of the most recognized verses is, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. It's the belief that we have to make sure of. Same way with the temple. If any man destroys the temple of God, God will destroy him, for the temple of God is holy. That is what you are. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you thinks that he is wise in this age, let him become foolish, that he may become wise. And again, the Lord knows the reasoning of the wise, that they are useless. Many people think that's talking about the temple in Israel, but he's talking about the body that we have.
You have 30 seconds left.
Right from wrong. We choose to believe, not believe, that we'll all lead to eternal life with him or without him. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Kathy Bone, school issues.
Hi. Unfortunately, here I am again with the same topic I presented to the board on 2 previous occasions. With another school shooting just over 24 hours old, Tipp City School Board seems to be lagging in your caring about our students and staff. We were led to believe that we needed to pay to have security resource officers, SROs, at the school buildings because they may help save the lives of our students in case of a shooter that may come into the campus or even prevent a shooter from coming on the campus. The contract was signed and has been violated many times now. I told this board on 2 different occasions this year of my concerns, and to my knowledge, nothing, and I repeat, nothing has been done to correct the activities or the violations of the SROs. I told you of one violation made when the SRO went off campus to interrogate a student about something that happened over a weekend, not at a school event and not on school property, which is a complete violation of the contract, if you read the contract. There's been another incident of an SRO leaving campus on a student truancy issue that should have been handled by the Tipp City Police Department. If a student wanted to talk to somebody from the school, which the report did not say he did, the school could have relieved the overpaid dean of students from his job of watching kids at recess and sent him instead. When he was rehired for the job of dean of students, we were all told how every student loved him and he got along with all of them. So the Tipp City Police or the dean of students should have been able to handle this without the SRO leaving campus. A third time that I'm aware of, is that the SRO left the campus was to take a student for a mental health issue to a local hospital. The Tipp City Police or an ambulance, or even the student's parent, who did come to the school, should have transported that student. It's not the job of a school resource officer to transport a student to a hospital, especially for a non-emergent issue. I'm not sure how this board can sit idly by and let this continue to occur. I'm not sure how any of you would be able to face the news media if something tragic occurred, especially during a time when the SRO wasn't even on the campus. You could not say that you as a school board did your duty and did everything within your power to protect the students and staff, because you wouldn't be lying. I, however, could go before the news media and tell them how many times I brought it up to you, and you did nothing to correct it. But I wouldn't stop at saying I went to the school or I went to the school board. I would call every single one of you out. Rick Maines, Amber Drum, Kyle Thompson, Angela McMurray, Cynthia Dillard, and even Mr. Moran. And I would tell them, you all sat here and heard me say it now 3 times, that these guys are not doing their job and you're not taking care of the situation. I shouldn't have to bring it up 3 times before this board. I suggest if you decide we really need SROs on campus, because apparently maybe we don't, but if we're gonna pay for them and we need them on campus, we need them to follow the rules, and we need to follow through the contract. However, if you think you really need them, I suggest you read the contract. After reading it, I suggest you make the security resource officers abide by the contract, otherwise face disciplinary measures. You may even have to rewrite and add things that common sense should have told them, but apparently they need in writing, such as not leaving the campus for things that could be taken care of by city personnel, either the police or an ambulance. I'm asking you for the 3rd time to fix this matter immediately. While we can't always prevent these school shootings, I certainly don't want to be on a news program telling them how this board did not do their job to protect these students. I pray for all these kids and their parents that have gone through this, but you guys need to step forward, need to do your job, and need to take care of it before it happens in Tipp City, Ohio, at our schools, and then you're gonna try to clean up the mess afterwards. Stay on top of the ball, do your jobs. Thank you.
All right, moving forward. Rick, Mr. Maines, can you give us some information on the Miami Valley CDC meeting minutes?
Sure. The minutes are you've all got the minutes, pretty standard procedures. We had some resignations, we had some new hires. We have I forget what it's called, the CRA, where there is a reduction in the property value for some businesses that want to participate in the area, and we'll get reimbursed for that. But the other thing going on, we had our holiday dinner before our last meeting. It was really good. It was at the 6800 Bistro, which is in the new building, which is the first time I've been in that section of the building, and it was beautiful. And it was from the Culinary Arts Department. And they did a fantastic job on the food. It was super. We also had this past month was the Sophomore Career Days. It went very well. We had over 3,500 this year participating in that on our campus. And the online application window is now open for juniors and senior programs for people that are interested in. Also, we did our 2025-2026 school calendar. The initial review of it will have final approval this coming month. And we look ahead to 2025, remembering the organizational meeting, just like what we have with Tipp schools, will be held on Tuesday, January 14th at 7 o'clock. So I was glad that it didn't conflict with our meeting here. So but that's coming up too. Other than that, the last day on campus for the students for holiday break is this coming Thursday, December 19th. We have our staff professional development day, the last day before the holiday break. The certified staff early release is at 11:30 in the morning. That's December 20th. And then December 20th through January 6th is our holiday break for students. And then January 6th, we have a staff professional development day. And then January 7th, classes resume. So it was a pretty nice December, very, very good meetings that we had. So that's my report.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Maines. Is there other committee reports?
I have, I attended the tri-agency meeting. And it was myself and Mr. Moran and Greg Seifring from Monroe Township, Mike Flora from the township, and Phil Cox from the township, and then Eric Mack, the city manager. And I thought it was a great meeting. We talked a lot about the schools and discussed the building project. They had some questions about a couple of questions, mostly regarding the traffic, wanting to make sure that the traffic studies were being done, and Mr. Moran told them that they were. And then we heard updates from both the township and the city manager. And so definitely, I'm sure everyone has seen the sewer line project on 25A and 571 right now, and so definitely make sure if you haven't signed up for maybe alerts from the city or something like that, you might want to do that, because there's going to be a closure at that intersection in January. And then there was a township update, and I just really appreciated hearing all the things. They have a new Monroe Township website, so definitely check that out for additional information of what's happening around Tipp City. So yeah, definitely communicate with your Monroe Township trustees and your city manager to learn more. And I encourage you to get involved. I know that they were looking for people for like the park committee and some of the other committees that they have, the subcommittees. So get involved with that if you're looking to get involved with the city.
Awesome. Mrs. Dillard, did you have any?
No, the Parks Board meets every other month, so they didn't meet, and Tipp Monroe had their annual holiday gathering, so no meeting this month.
Okay. I met with, I was at the meeting for Tipp Educational Endowment, and so Tipp Educational Endowment had a record number of grant requests from the district this year, and then all the grants will be awarded in January of 2025. I got to hear a lot of the grants that were submitted from our district, and there was a lot of buzz about how our superintendent and Mrs. Dawn Scott really made sure that the teachers had time to submit and things like that along the way. So it was awesome this year to have that many grants. I want to say it was 15 or 18 people submitted, which is the largest I've seen since I've been on that committee. So kudos. And then T is also seeking new advisors. So an advisor typically is someone who gets a deciding vote on Tipp Educational Endowment. So they are looking for some new advisors. And if you're interested, you can locate T on the school website or on social media. And then for sure, T will be sponsoring a new award along with the Teacher of the Year this year, an award to go to an employee in the district that has had an impact on a student. There will be more to come about this in 2025. So they'll be offering 2 awards this year. So that is my update on that. Any other committee reports? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on. Mr. Stevens, would you please give us the monthly financial report?
Sure. So attached to the agenda is the monthly financial report for November. We have gone down a little bit in our cash balance. One of the things that did occur was we did pay off the high school debt. That is officially over with, and that was a large expense of $1.6 million. But that was the last time that we will have to pay that debt. Also, the tax collections on that will are now, I've confirmed with the auditors, they will not be collecting any tax on that part. However, we will have tax collections beginning next year for the PK8 and high school renovation project. So that will start up next February. Let's see, anything to note? We are collecting the interest on the 004 and 010 project funds for the high school and the new pre-K-8 building. There is attached in the report, you can see all the interest earnings there. We did earn $150,000 in interest this month. And this is just, most of this is passive interest, as in these are funds that are in money markets and things like that. The investments that we're investing in with these projects are those that mature on either a 6-month basis or annually. So there's going to be some months where we see some very large, as those investments mature, we're going to see some large months with collections. So don't look at the Star Ohio account and think, oh my gosh, we're not doing as well as Star Ohio, even though we have a lot more money invested in these other accounts. It's definitely because of what is being invested in. And so that you'll see those as we continue on. On my BVA, my budget versus actual, one thing to note is that I have now updated this to where we are basing everything off of the November 2024 5-year forecast. You can see that's our baseline. There was a couple changes to that I've already made note of. All other operating revenue, I'm expecting to get some more. So you can see on that line, so that's actually page 6. I apologize if anybody's trying to keep up with me. On page 6, you'll see a line for budget changes, and there's a $35,241, just an additional revenue that I expect to get. So I've built that in. I'm showing you this is what's above and beyond what the forecast says right now. But as you can see, projecting our revenue versus what we expect to get and our expenses versus what we expect to spend, you can see that our percentages are really close to where we would be at 5 months of operation, if they're straight line. When it's not close to those percentages, I have off on the right, why are we over or why are we under? On all of the revenues, we are over on that, except for restricted grants and aid. Restricted grants and aid, though, it's because of timing of payments. These have large one-time payments that occur throughout the year. We get reimbursed for special education expenses that we have. That's our threshold cost reimbursement. And then also the science of reading. This is a one-time payment that we've got this year that the state of Ohio is supporting. They've now put in that the science of reading is what we need to be following. And because of that state change, they're now providing money for training of all the teachers for the science of reading. And so we're estimating, I think it's $122,000 is expenses we're going to have for science of reading costs, and the state's going to reimburse us for it. So the restricted grants and aid line item is actually higher than what it's been in the past, but it's because it's got that $100,000 baked into it. But again, those are one-time payments that we haven't received yet, so we're trending lower than where we should be if we were looking at percentages. On the expenses, personnel services, that's our payroll. Our target was 42.3, we're at 42.2. We're 0.1% off of that target, so that's great. Other variances have been noted there. In benefits, we're currently lower. We're at 39.6%, but we're also going to see the second half of the school year is going to have higher premium payments for health insurance and dental insurance. So we're going to see those costs go up higher, and that's going to make up the difference there. Other items have been noted. Capital outlay, it seems much higher at 81% of the budget, but if you look to the right, it's commented because we spent $200,000 on the LT ball renovation project at the beginning of the year. So that's, again, another timing of payment issue. Overall, things are looking good. We're trending appropriately to the forecast, and so if there's any changes, that'll be brought to the board's attention in future months, and we'll adjust the forecast as necessary as additional information comes in. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Dave.
Okay, next I would love a motion for the approval of the fiscal year 2025 appropriation amendments.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Thompson, seconded by Mr. Maines for the approval of the fiscal year 2025 appropriation amendments. Mr. Stevens, would you like to?
Just to point out, that the changes, excuse me, changes in the general fund are just to tie to the forecast that was approved in November. We also did get approval for a tech credit grant program from the state. Once again, we're sending staff members for training in a technology credited program, and the state is going to reimburse us up to $30,000. At the moment, we're at $30,000. We'll have more throughout the year, but they're going to reimburse us for those expenses that we have to get those teachers credentialed. So there was this is actually going to be charged to a $499 grant once all the dust settles. But right now, it's currently occurring in the general fund. We'll do an expense correction later on, but that was another reason why we had an increase in the general fund. It's gonna be a wash, so I'm not gonna change the forecast for that $30,000 because it's gonna go away. Once it gets reclassed, it's in Fund 499. Other increases were for a local grant from the Tipp City Foundation. We actually have more activity in our athletic tournaments, so we have an O22 fund that handles athletic tournaments, and we've had more tournament sales than we anticipated. So we just need to appropriate those expenses for the revenue that's coming in. And also for changes in budget requests for our student activity grants and our athletic funds have been requested as well. So nothing unusual besides the $30,000 one that I told you about for our appropriation changes.
Okay, any questions? All right, we'll go ahead and vote on the approval of the, of the fiscal year 2025 appropriation amendments.
Okay. Thompson?
Yes.
Maines?
Yes.
Dillard?
Yes.
Drum?
Yes.
McMurray?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Okay. Next, I would love a motion for approval to reimburse board members for expenses incurred while attending the 2024 Ohio School Board Association Capital Conference as per Board Policy 0147.
I'll motion.
Moved by Mrs. McMurray,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Thompson. Is there any discussion on the approval to reimburse board members for expenses incurred while attending the 2024 Ohio School Board Association Capital Conference as per Board Policy 0147? Okay, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
McMurray?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Dillard?
Yes.
Drum?
Yes,
Maines?
Yes.
motion passes. All right, next is alternative tax document format. I would love a motion for the approval of a resolution declaring intention to proceed under the alternative tax document format provided under section 5705.281 of the Ohio Revised Code and to refrain from the preparation of a tax budget for the fiscal year 2026, and authorizing and directing the chief fiscal officer of the board to prepare and to submit to the Miami County Budget Commission such information and documents as are necessary incident to said process and submission, and to take other actions as may be reasonably necessary incident thereto. In public content, the alternative tax document is listed.
Yeah, the resolution for that
Yes.
was just discusses why we have to do this process.
Fantastic.
And I can give some heads up on that too, but just looking for the motion.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Mr. Maines. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Thompson is our second on that really long thing that I'm not going to read again. Okay. And any discussion
I'll just clarify, this is an annual process that we do. The Miami County Auditor's Office has revised our requirement to file an official tax budget with them. And instead of doing an official tax budget, they require an alternative tax budget. And that is a document that will be prepared and submitted to the board for approval at our organizational meeting. We're required to file this with the County Auditor's Office before the 15th, I believe, of January. But this is basically a 6-month preemptive budget for fiscal year '26, meaning it's going to change, I can tell you that, but it's going to give us a good idea of where we are for what's going to happen next year. And again, this is done on an annual basis, and it will be submitted in January. And, you know, it goes county to county. Montgomery County has completely waived this requirement, and nobody files anything. So Greene County, they do the full tax budget process. So everybody does it differently. Those are the 3 things you can do. You can have the full process, an amended process, or no process. We're in the amended process.
Got it.
So that's it.
All right, any other questions? Discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Maines,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right, motion for alternative tax document format resolution
Perfect.
passes. Okay, next is our consent agenda. At this time, I would love a motion for approval of the consent agenda. Items include prior meeting minutes, resignations, substitutes, supplemental corrections, supplemental positions, high dosage tutors, athletic game workers for the 24-25 season, bus transportation for Camp Kern, anonymous donations, thank you, Broadway Hair Studio and Company donation, thank you, Kelly and Jennifer Peralt donation, Kelly and Dolores D. Gillis charitable checking account gift acceptance. Can I have a motion?
I'll move that we accept the consent agenda.
Moved by Mrs. Dillard. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Thompson. For the consent agenda items, there is no discussion needed, so we'll go ahead and proceed to vote.
Dillard,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Maines.
Yes.
All right, motion passes for the consent agenda. All right, next I would love a motion to appoint, we haven't decided yet, as President Pro Tempo to preside over the Records Commission and organizational meeting on January 7th, 2024 at 6 p.m. So basically, we need to put a name in there.
Whoever wants to play Amber for those 2 meetings.
Be interesting.
What are we doing here?
So we just have to
Need to make a motion.
we
by
need to make a
putting
motion to
somebody's
put
name
somebody in there.
Yeah. Anybody want to volunteer?
You did it last year, didn't you?
Yes.
I'll move that Amber continue to be the pro
Tempore.
tempore.
However,
Pro
that's
tempore
Okay.
of the Senate, no. Sorry.
No, I love it. That's funny. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. So there's a motion on the table for for Mrs. Drum to be appointed as the president pro, how do you say it?
Tempore.
Tempore, to preside over the Records Commission and organizational meeting on January 7th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Is there a second?
And
I'll
that was-
second.
Oh, was
Wait,
there a second?
that was Thompson already.
Oh, just kidding.
okay,
My bad.
sorry.
I did not write that down. I'm so
Cindy
sorry.
and Kyle.
Cindy and Kyle, thank you. I'm so sorry about that. Is there any discussion?
Good luck.
Thank you, sir. All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Dillard,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Maines.
Yes.
McMurray.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Okay. Okay, so this is a big one. This is more information, but this is the Neola Fall Update, first read. So we'll actually have our second read and vote on this in January.
January.
Yes. Okay. these should have all gotten sent to you guys, not in this email, but the previous, whatever. Do you guys have any questions, concerns? Anything?
There's a test.
Over what we changed.
Thanks to Amber and Cindy for working through this with Norm. We have one more meeting for the rest of to go through the whole policy book, which will be, again, updated in January for a first read. But that will be, we have that on Monday. So this is just the regular twice a year portion. There's quite a bit there.
Oh, yes, there's a lot. The artificial intelligence new section, that was, I mean, I know that's a state
Yeah.
thing, but I was like, wow,
Yeah.
okay,
There was a lot of lively discussions about things
yeah.
in general.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
All good discussions, but lively discussions about things.
No, and we aren't, this is just a discussion, this is
Yes.
not any decision. So Norm is really very knowledgeable.
Yes.
And really a great person to work with. So he really got us through a lot, and like Aaron said, we're almost finished.
It's been a minute.
So,
It's been a minute.
so when I read it, the green stuff is new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously the pink is crossed out, but
Yep.
who comes up with the green stuff? That's not our,
That's Neola.
okay.
This is
The
all from
attorneys.
Neola. And then we
Okay.
meet to go through them to make sure we agree with it. If there's any questions or, we read it and say, okay, I don't like this part that says, I don't want this. And
May or
some-
shall.
Yeah, there may be options that we choose from to select the one, so that's, that's,
Okay, I got
that's
it.
done with Norm,
Okay.
leading the way every time.
And then there's some policies that are changed specifically for like our district, depending on what works best for us. So sometimes you may see things stricken out or things in parentheses because it's something that we've created for specifically for our district too.
Okay.
I think it was interesting to see some of them had not been touched
Oh, I know, right?
in a while.
In a hot minute. Yeah.
To think, it's a lot, it's a big lift. Thank you very much.
It was a good experience as well, and very, I think it's a good way to attack it. Some boards choose to go over certain policy areas during the course of the year, every year, but I think knocking it all out at once is really helpful so that we can move forward. It's very efficient, and like I said, Norm is so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And Aaron is too.
Yes.
Aaron was,
I can read, that's
he,
it.
he was awesome.
No, but he did also, just as a side note, because he hates attention, but I'm going to tell you anyway. When there was an issue, he would go back to like the particular person that it was associated with to see how it would best fit our district too. So if it was like a particular thing with like students or whatever, he would go back and ask, the principals or Don Scott or somebody
Exactly,
how
yes.
it would best fit our district. And so that was great too, to have a collaborative idea of what works best for us.
And Dave had to come in.
Oh, Dave.
I only
lots of
came in for
times.
finance stuff. Nobody cares about
I know,
me.
but it was great,
important.
Dave.
A lot of it.
Yeah, because then, and I even learned some things that previously had been told to me differently that I learned I was misinterpreting. So I felt like that was good for me to know too, moving forward. So,
Just a point of clarification, just curiosity. I know Neola puts out their updates every year that we,
Every 6 months.
Every
6 months.
They do one in
Yeah.
usually in the spring and another one in, winter and
yes.
spring, winter, fall, it depends when they get
yes.
everything
So I
done.
know that they put theirs out, their updates, but how, again, noticing that some of them haven't been touched in a very long time. Even, the updating of the original, what is the appropriate timeline to take a deep dive?
I'd say
every-
about
We actually have a
5 to
policy.
About every 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
You
7,
should be
okay.
looking to review everything to make sure
Okay.
it's up to date.
Yeah, this was a deep dive.
Yeah,
And for the regular updates, it's just if there's something changed in the
Right.
law.
Twice a year.
so.
Yeah.
yeah,
Deep dives are good.
Yeah.
okay. Just good to note. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on. Resolution of necessity, levy renewal, first resolution. Wait, did I miss
Everything got
it?
approved?
Oh, it's,
No,
It's
that's
just
it's
a
just a
read.
first read, remember?
Okay.
Yeah, so second read, we'll approve it in January.
At the regular meeting. Right? Yeah.
Yes. So at this time, I would love a motion to approve the resolution of necessity for the renewal of an emergency tax levy.
All motion.
Motion by Mrs. McMurray. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, and then, did you want to discuss this, or?
In order to get on the ballot in May, we have to have a couple steps done by the beginning of February. So this is, first step is declaring it, and then we'll send this to the auditor's office. The auditors will come back and tell us what the millage is. Again, the millage, this renewal, we collect the same amount of money. I expect the actual millage to decrease though, because of valuations and things going up. So the actual millage should decrease, but the amount of money is set. There's no additional funds being raised. It's the same amount of money, but the millage will probably, I expect it to decrease.
So what that means for taxpayers is that since there's more homes and property values have gone up, that actually it will be less for them, for us to
Well, there's
get the
less,
same amount of money.
the millage is, yeah, the millage will be less. Everybody's situation will be 10, whether it's the same amount or a
Right.
little less. Hopefully, it's a little less for everybody.
The way I look at it is the pie hasn't changed in size.
It's just your size.
There's just more people there and you,
To contribute to.
yeah. Well, and, you know, depending on if your property went up in a huge amount in value, you would probably see a different change than somebody else. But overall, if everybody's property stayed the same, your piece of pie would get a little smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just a renewal. It's for the same amount that was on the first time, or it's actually been renewed once. No. I can't remember if this one's been
Says was
renewed.
approved in 2019.
Okay, so 2015, 2019 now, we'll
Yeah.
approve it again in 2025.
It's
So this will be the
roughly-
second renewal.
Just
Okay.
under $1.9 million
Yeah.
Yeah.
total.
And I think it's important for understanding that money like this goes to operate the district.
Yeah, this is general fund
And
money.
so that's, you know, in layman's terms, can you give us some hot button items in our budget where this directly impacts?
You know, 80% of our budget is salaries and benefits. I mean, if you take it, so on the 5-year forecast, this is shown on the forecast at the bottom because this is not a known, this is not a guaranteed revenue. So on the forecast, we have to show it at the bottom as a renewal.
Right.
And you can see the effect if this money is not there, the increase in the deficit if this money does not get renewed. So it definitely is used to help cover our operating expenses, salaries, benefits, maintenance services, and busing services, things that we do in the district.
Bonds.
Yeah.
And to clarify, the bond levy can only be used for construction and buildings. It cannot be used for operating or, so,
Good clarification.
And I know that there is gonna be some confusion because there was a renewal in fall of '23. The bond was approved
In '24.
in '24, and now we're looking at '25 for another renewal.
Yep.
Those two renewals are completely separate.
Correct.
And I think it's just important for people to understand that this is a renewal and what those budgetary things that it is directly approved, you know, tied to. I just think clarification on that is important.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments, questions, concerns?
I'll just note that once this is approved, I'll provide this document to the Miami County Auditor's Office. They will provide a certification that states what the millage will be, and we will put the information provided from the County Auditor's Office into the second resolution. The second resolution that we approve will include the ballot language.
Okay,
That will be put onto the ballot
Okay.
in, I believe it's for the May ballot issue, so.
Do we know what the voting date is in May?
It's
May 5th possibly.
First Tuesday? That would be the 6th.
6th.
Okay. Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, this one needs a vote.
Yes, that was my next thing. All right, let's proceed to vote.
Okay, McMurray,
Yes.
Maines,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right, motion for the resolution of necessity for the renewal of an emergency tax levy passes. Next are upcoming meetings. The organizational meeting will occur on January 7th, 2025 at the Board of Education office beginning at 6 p.m. The Records Commission's meeting will occur on January 7th, 2025 at the Board of Education office beginning at 6:30 p.m.
And that, just making sure,
Mm-hmm.
that is at the board office, not,
Yes.
okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. At this time, I would love a motion for adjourning the meeting.
I'll motion.
Moved by Mr. Thompson,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. McMurray. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Maines.
Yes.
Motion passes. The time is now 6:56 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.